The first lift I got was with a friendly old truck driver named Whitey. He told me he would be driving west for the next couple of days until Arizona. This sounded good to me, so I accepted his offer. Whitey was a lovely guy, and we chatted about all sorts of fun and interesting things in a friendly, easygoing way. We spent the next couple of days watching places like Memphis, Mississippi, Dallas, and New Mexico whiz by. The scenery was stunning, from beautiful greenery and lush rivers to majestic mountains and desert landscapes. It felt great to be back on the road again, especially with good company, and I refused to let a few bad apples ruin my beautiful world. If ever I got tired, Whitey told me to feel free to jump into the bunk behind our seats and take a nap. And later, when I would wake up, we would swap around and Whitey would climb into the bunk so that he could catch some Z's. "Let's go get us some coffee," said Whitey as he parked up his truck as we reached Arizona. "Good idea," I answered as I yawned and stretched out before opening the passenger door and jumping down to the ground. "You must be the sporty type," Whitey said, looking impressed by my jumping down from the truck. "Well, yes and no," I answered with a laugh. Whitey looked a bit confused. "I mean, I love climbing, swimming, biking, hiking, but I don't like competitive sports at all," I said, trying to explain. "Ah, gotcha," he answered with a head nod. "How about you, Whitey? Are you sporty?" I asked as we entered the rest stop diner. "Well, I've been into lots of things in my time. I guess music is a big love of mine," he answered philosophically. "Ah, nice. What kind of music?" "Good morning, come this way," interrupted a friendly middle-aged woman with a big blonde hairdo and heavy makeup. We followed her along to a booth. She seemed to be swinging her hips every step of the way, which I found quite comical. I wasn't sure what Whitey made of it. "There you go, sweetie. Now what can I get for you?" she said as we followed her gesture to sit down. "Well, Rose, to start with, we'd like a couple of coffees, right, Della?" said Whitey with a big grin. "Ah, yes, please, Rose," I said, noticing her name tag on her apron. "2 coffees coming up," answered Rose as she headed off towards the kitchen. I loved these American road diners. They had a homely feel, and the staff were always so warm and welcoming. Whitey passed me the menu, and as usual, he told me to order whatever I liked. I felt so lucky to have met such another lovely person. He and Billy made up for the Johns and the Rays of this world. I thanked him and went about studying the menu. "I'm going to get me a full breakfast. I reckon you should too, especially if you'll be hitchhiking later," Whitey said wisely. "Okay, thanks, Whitey," I answered, and soon we were tucking into a massive breakfast while the coffees kept on coming. I loved how at these diners the waitresses came round with a big jug of coffee and asked if we wanted a top-up. What a wonderful country the USA is, I thought to myself, just absolutely loving the scenery, the atmosphere, and most of all, the people. Whitey was very easy to chat to. He reminded me of a kindly grandpa type. He told me that he would soon be heading north, but he would drop me off at the next truck stop where I would be sure to catch another truck heading west. We finished our breakfast and both thanked Rose as Whitey left her a generous tip. Then we headed back to his truck and climbed on board once again. "Stick with the truck drivers, don't go with the cars," said Whitey, looking concerned for me. I'd previously told him of my bad experience with Ray taking off with all of my stuff. He'd pulled a face and shook his head as if to say, "Car drivers are bad news." We arrived at the next truck stop, and Whitey suggested I stand at a certain spot on the roadside to catch a lift. He explained that if a truck picked me up from there, it was pretty certain that it was heading west. I thanked Whitey for giving me a lift and for his good company and generosity. As I was about to open up the passenger door, he reached into a box of personal items and pulled out a record with a picture of a cowboy on the front. He grabbed a pen and wrote "Happy Trails" on the cover. As he gave it to me, he said that it was his record and he wanted me to have it. I wasn't sure if he meant he'd sung the songs on it or if it was his possession, but either way it was a lovely gesture. I took the record with a big smile and thanked him. We said our goodbyes and I jumped down from the truck and started to walk towards the spot he told me to hitch from. As I neared the spot, I turned and waved goodbye one last time. He waved back as he drove on by. What a lovely man. I wish all people were as warm and kind as him, I thought to myself. I glanced down at the record he'd given me, and there on the cover was the name Whitey Carson and a picture of Whitey taken a few years earlier. Oh my goodness, it's him. He's Whitey Carson, I thought to myself with a smile. The next truck soon came along, so I stuck out my thumb. It pulled over, so I ran and climbed up the steps and opened the door. A warm and friendly-looking Native American man was the driver. His vibes felt very safe, so I smiled and said hello. "Hi, where are you heading?" he asked with a warm smile. "West," I answered. Not exactly sure where I was heading. "Okay, jump in," he answered with a nod. "Great, thanks," I answered, and I jumped in and we took off, westward bound.